Hey, welcome. This is G with Allastrology. Continuing with the readings for the month of October 2019, and this is for Virgo 2019. In this video, I am going to go over the full moon in Aries, which happens on the 13th of October. And then at the end of the month, we're going to discuss a little bit about the choppy waters that are coming up with the new moon in Scorpio. Okay? All right. If you haven't been here before, we do free readings for people. Just comment your birth info down below and we will hook you up down below. Okay, Virgo. Fascinating month for you. This is Virgo rising. Fascinating month because of the location. When we look at the energies, the new moon happens, the full moon in Aries happens at about 20 degrees in Aries, and it happens the 13th, so that's just a few days away. It's full moon, so remember the full moon energy starts to build a few days before, so we're actually already in this mode, this phase of energy. Virgos, you have energy, you have initiative, you have physical strength, you have the desire, the passion to go after what you value. Yep. You have the passion, the desire, the inertia to go after what you value. What do you value? Have you got that figured out? Well, I'm going to tell you what your energy is showing. You value significant one-on-one relationships. You value peace and harmony, fairness, okay? That's what it's looking like from where I'm sitting. That's what the energy says. So those things are of great value to you, and you're going to have the strength to go after those things. Now, to your ability, you have the communication, the ability to communicate, to speak, to write, to learn new things are going to seem easier this month. Okay? They're going to seem easier. You have Venus and Mercury, which are siblings who like to talk and communicate together about things they love, right? There's also with this Aries on the 13th, the Aries full moon happens. Where's this happening? I'm going to say that it's happening in your 8th house, Aries, okay? Depends, of course, on your birth time to be exact, but this is a general reading. So if it's happening in the 8th house, it's intimate one-on-one relationships, but in a bonded way, okay? Such as we're bonded by money. We've merged our money. We've merged our bodies. It's the house of other people's money. It's the house of deep healing, the physical body, and you have Aries there. So there's a really good possibility you could experience some deep healing. You're going to be extremely passionate and emotional at this time. This Aries full moon has a pronounced feminine energy. That word I have such a hard time saying. Feminine. Anyway, feminine energy. So you want to make sure that you involve your mind. Basically, you kind of want to train your mind to be more in a thinking mode. I said earlier you're going to have help in that case, because you will, because you're going to have Venus and Mercury in the area, in their house of thinking. So incorporate them. Know and realize and recognize when the fire starts to flow. Remember what happens to water when we add fire to it. It's our emotions. And when there's air involved also, it can become wordy, right? It can become shit that flies out into the air. So you want to be careful, okay? You want to make sure that you're not speaking before you've thought things through first, okay? Use your energy to do some learning, okay? Use that energy to pursue that which you value. This could also mean that you are using the energy at this time to pursue income, to pursue money, your own resources, whatever that is that you consider a valuable resource for yourself. It's in the house of Taurus, the 2nd house. So the house of Taurus is all about, well, Taurus is our resources and how I value myself. It's also about food that we value, because Taurus rules food in a sense when it comes to the senses, taste, touch, smell, hearing, seeing. So all these things come into play here. That is for the 13th, okay? That's that Aries full moon. It's approximately about 20 degrees. I did a whole video. This is a part 2 to the video I did earlier. So if you haven't watched it, go back up and watch it, and it explains the overarching energies that you're not hearing me talk about right now, because I wanted to do a specific for signs. So again, this is for Virgo, and Virgo, this is happening in your 8th house. 8th house is also insurance, right? Inheritances. It's other people's resources, okay? So it's a full moon. The full moon sheds the light on something, okay? It gives you this awareness of somebody else's values. And it's almost as though at this time there's going to come about where you have a greater understanding of, well, I value what they value. Because in a big way, you already have that understanding. You're very fortunate in that way. Having Aries there, it's like you can see both sides of the coin, kind of like a Gemini thing. But you also, I believe firmly, that there's going to come this illumination of, I now value me and my body, and that I have to take better care of it, that that's truly important, and that I need to be a little bit wiser in my actions going forward. I think that's going to happen. I really do, because of what I'm looking at. There's another line of communication that opens up with your house of your physical body and your health in general and well-being. There's a communication that occurs, and it's just, you're getting more information about that, and you're seeing things you didn't see before. So from this point on, you should be taking better care of yourself, because you'll just have a knowing. You'll have a better understanding. It's not because I told you to, it's just, it'll just kind of happen, But be aware of that. Look for it, okay? Because the more you bring to your awareness, the more you acknowledge and recognize, the more comes and the more happens, okay? This is important. Let's move to the end of the month for you now. Towards the end of the month for you, Virgo, let me make sure. Yeah. Okay, so the end of the month for you, Virgo, we have a tension setting up. This is for all of us, but for you specifically, it's in what I value, okay, what we just talked about, what I value. It's going to take more work in establishing that and talking and communicating about that and sharing that with those involved with having children and fun and romance and creativity and areas of our lives that we would consider taking a risk. There's going to be a conflict there, okay? There's going to be a tension. And I can use the word conflict because it literally involves Mars and Saturn. And Mars is very much like, I'm not backing down. I will fight for this. That's Mars. Saturn is also about, but I'm the teacher. Like, you can't fight me. I'm teaching you. So there's something cool about Mars and Saturn where they do have a mutual receptivity involved, where Mars acknowledges that he's just the soldier and that Saturn is the general, although I don't want to tell you that Saturn is actually a general is a keyword for Saturn, because it's not. But Mars recognizes that there's somebody who's got more brains going that's there and respects that. So it just means that it doesn't have to escalate into a fight. It doesn't have to do that, but you just have to be willing to understand that your values, what you value, there might be some more work involved in that in regards to children, fun, joy, and creativity. And it also very much would have to do with work, in a sense, and business, okay? So there's something there with work and business and maybe things that you do that are fun and joyful and involving children or a romantic partner, and somehow having some sort of a business sense, a business structure surrounding that, and somehow, so I don't know if you're trying to make something a go at something, business-wise, something that you might do for fun or something that comes naturally to you. That means you're going to have to work a little bit harder at the end of the month because of the tension. Instead of taking 4 or 5 steps, Saturn's asking you to take 10 steps, okay? Now, don't go away. There's a little bit more. So I said to people in the beginning, the end of October, there's choppy waters, all right? If we don't have a heads up to it, it could be more than just choppy waters. So the next thing that happens, that new moon on the 28th, I know I'm exhausted. The new moon on the 28th, there is a Uranus thing going on. Uranus is the planet of surprise. okay? It exactly opposes the new moon. So for you, that is happening in your ninth house of your beliefs, okay? Now, depending upon who you are in your birth time, you could have these few degrees in your eighth house, which means it could also happen in the same area of shared resources. You know, all that crap I talked about earlier, where your Aries full moon was occurring. Depending upon your birth time, this Uranus thing that's going on could also be in that eighth house. So for some people, it could include both houses. Again, this would require a reading. Comment down below. The general overall reading is that it's likely in the ninth house. The ninth house is our beliefs and our opinions. What do I believe? What is my opinion? So that's fascinating, right? Because it opposes what you value. So Uranus is involved, which means surprise, which means something's coming along to say, hey, guess what? This is something you were not aware of. And you're somehow going to incorporate it into your value system, which is a good thing, because this stress at the end of the month, it is all about accessing knowledge that we didn't have before, incorporating it into our life so that the end product can be something better than what we even anticipated it could be. And it will occur. It's a matter of being flexible. Don't be so fixed. Okay, this is important because you are very fixed in your beliefs and your opinions. You're very fixed. I can tell you that right now. I'm looking at it and it's telling me this individual is very fixed on what they believe how one-on-one relationships should be and their idea of fairness and justice. Very fixed in that way. So you want to just be a little bit more flexible. That's what the energy is telling you, okay? So remember, this was the reading for Virgos. You have the Mercury retrograde that's going to happen, which means you have to reread things, you have to follow the directions, you have to pull out the manual, you have to dot the I's, you have to cross the T's. You might have to do it a few times. You might have to go back to step one a few times. You might have to go back to the drawing board, erase every damn thing, and start from the top. This is what Mercury retrogrades are. It begins October 31st. So that's about a 3-week thing that it lasts. So expect things to take a little bit longer. Usually the worst part of a Mercury retrograde literally is like the first 15 days. Okay? I'm not going to go into the details of why. It takes too much time. So I think that wraps up Virgo for October 2019. Thank you.